All right. Welcome, everybody. As you log into the site, log into the live stream, thanks for being here. And congratulations to Daily Banjo Licks on the 200th lick. We're really excited about posting that up on the website. And you can check out all the licks at banjolicks.com. But we have a really special guest here tonight. I'm very excited about having. The last time I played with him, jammed with him, was at the Durango Bluegrass Meltdown, which was just kind of an impromptu hallway jam, and we picked, and it was just immediate fireworks of creativity. And I love him so much for that. He's just such a creative person and inspiring person to play with and also be around. And I'm honored that he's joining us tonight. So let me introduce Tony Trischka to the stage.
Hey, Bennett, everybody else out there, thanks for tuning in. And I'm honored to be here on the 200th broadcast, or however you say that, podcast, video cast.
It's our 200th lick.
Lick cast.
Okay. The lick cast. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
There you go.
Let's go with that. See, that's what I'm talking about. The creativity. It's right there.
LICAST. There it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, so glad to be here. Thank you. Thanks, Bennett, for having me.
Absolutely. I'm excited to hear some of your music, hear the project, the newest project you're working on, and also hear some cool stuff from Earl that you've been sharing with me beforehand. But before we get into that, let's hear some original music from Tony Trischka. Take it away, Tony.
All right. Here's a tune I wrote a couple of years ago. I had problems with my tendons and my fingers. I snapped a tendon in my ring finger, and I couldn't I had to use two fingers for 2 weeks. For 6 weeks. And so I started trying to do Scruggs style. You can do okay with two fingers, but I decided I better start writing some tunes that just use two fingers so that I can have something new to play that works with just two fingers. So I wrote this tune called Pretendin', if you will. And I'll be using it with all the fingers now because I've recovered, but this is called Pretendin'. Thank you.
I'll clap. No, they're probably clapping at home, but yeah,
Okay.
that was awesome, man. I picked up my banjo because I was like, oh whoa, I like all of that, so many cool ideas, but that or whatever you're doing there at the D, that is very very hit.
I do sometimes that with the index on the second string, eighth fret, and the pinky on the first 12th fret
Oh yeah.
on a D, or works against a G actually.
Yeah.
So you're using an alternating thumb roll with the middle going to the 5th string 9th fret, and then to the toe, and then 10th fret.
Okay. Yeah, that's really cool. I hear that, and yeah.
You can take it down to 6.
Right. Yeah. So
Anyway,
so a tune like that, like where does that begin? Like, do you, yeah, just kind of take me through that process.
I have no idea. It just happened. I may have started with the B part.
Yeah.
I could only use 2 fingers, so
Mm-hmm.
I'll use the bar positions. I can do that with 1 finger. So it's C, D, F, G.
Yeah. Okay.
First time it's B flat to C, E flat to F,
Yeah.
back to D, and then C, D, F, G.
Right.
And I don't know how I came up with that. Just kind of pretty sound.
Mm-hmm. With those open strings, yeah.
I'm sorry?
With the open strings, sorry.
Yeah, open first string,
Mm-hmm.
which is really pretty.
Yeah.
You get that discord and move down 2 frets.
Right.
Because I had this. I'm not sure how I came up with that. It's nothing fantastic. Just
Right.
D to D, C to C. And then a lot of forward rolls. I've been in this Scruggs world for the last year and a half. Years. So
Right.
a lot of forward rolls and syncopation. And then for the second time, rather than doing the same thing, I went just
I
parallel.
heard that. Yeah.
Thirds going from 7 to 4, then 5 to 2, and then up. And this way.
That's a nasty lick too.
And that's the beginning, which I blew. It was supposed to be. I went from here to here, but it should have been.
Wow. Yeah.
Anyway, so it's hard to know where these things come from, just the ethers.
Right. Yeah. No, I know. I write a lot of music myself, and it's always
Yeah, I'm
just
sure you
interesting
know how
to.
that works.
Well, yeah. I mean, but it's cool to hear other people's processes, and it's usually it just comes back to following your ear or following the muse, if you will. And
Yeah.
it sounds like that you did just that. Well, let's jump into some licks. I would love to hear like some of your favorite licks. It could be 2 or 3 different ones, and if you could just play them fast and slow, put them in the context of a song. You can act as if I'm your student and teach me the lick. I'd be honored to learn from you in this session.
Here's a cool lick that I stole from a guy named Peter Schwimmer, who's a wonderful banjo player out in. Do you know him out in Portland?
I do know Peter Schwimmer. I played with him at Wintergrass like when I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
And I was blown away by his style. Just like I was like, who are you and where'd you come from?
I know he's that kind of guy because I used to hear back in the 70s even I heard about this guy somewhere in Pennsylvania named Peter Schwimmer. He never toured. He was supposed to be amazing. I finally met him out in Seattle in the 70s when I was living out there, or later 70s, early 80s. Anyway, and he put out a couple of cassettes over the years, but that's it. Just this unknown great banjo player. But he showed me this lick for a D lick.
Okay.
So we throw it in.
That's super cool.
9-pound hammer.
Well, that's super cool. And so I mentioned I played with Steve this past weekend. And
Yeah.
he did an ending lick. And I was like, where'd you get that lick? and he was like, Tony taught me. Tony taught it to me.
I showed him that lick.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like it's got an ascending part and also has a descending part in it, right? Like there's parallel lines kind of going opposite directions. Is that correct?
Yes, contrary motion. This is going.
Contrary motion.
This is going. And this is. See? So it's all forward rolls. It's actually easy to play. You don't often find that against the D chord.
No, you don't. Okay.
So start with the ring on the second string, third fret. Do a forward roll, fourth, third, second.
Okay.
Then put the second string to the second fret with the ring just on one fret. And add the index on the fourth string, first fret. Same strings, fourth, second, first. And then play a C chord with an open first string.
Okay.
And pretty. And again, fourth, second, and first strings. And then the bottom of a B flat chord with the middle on the fourth string, third fret, ring on the third string, third fret. Go fourth, third, first.
Okay.
Fourth, second, first. And that gives you 12 notes, 4 groupings of 3. And then 4 more notes to fill it out, do an alternating thumb roll. Open fourth string, index on the third string, second fret. I use the pinky here, it's more comfortable than the ring, but people can use the ring on the fourth string, fourth fret. Open first. And that's it.
It's highbrow stuff, man.
That's pretty
Contrary
highbrow.
motion.
One thing I could mention, when I started off 9-Pound Hammer, I did this, which brings up a whole nother topic, which is the syllables of a tune. I don't know if you've gotten into that at all with your.
Not really. No. So explain that.
This is something that I heard John Hartford talk about first, and he mentioned how Earl would play the syllables, not always, but would play the syllables of a tune. Rather than sort of playing the melody, he would play the syllables of a tune. And I was fortunate to have John Hartford. I was doing this workshop in Elkins, West Virginia, at this college out there. And John was dropping off his mandolin player, Mike Compton, and ended up hanging around for a couple of days. I invited him to sit in my banjo class. And I was going to suggest that he bring his fiddle, and we could talk about how to back up the fiddle tune. And he brought his fiddle, but he brought his banjo also, and ended up talking about all banjo stuff. And if anyone ever saw John Hartford, when he would do a tune like Little Maggie, he would look out at the audience for the opening banjo break. He wouldn't actually be singing, but he'd lip sync what he was doing, like Little Maggie. He would look out at the audience, wide-eyed, kind of smiling, and I thought it was just sort of a nice stage thing for the audience. But he explained in this workshop that he would do that so he could really tune into what are the lyrics of this verse, so he could play. Now the first time you go, it's that's one syllable. Second time, she's drinking. So you get that into the weeds with it, that detailed about it.
Yes.
And so Earl Scruggs played, there's only one Earl. Earl played Country Roads on this album, which was called American Made World Played back in 1987 or thereabouts. And he played Country Roads, and this is basically note for note what he played. So that's, if you sang along with that, it's virtually how you would sing it. Right down to mountain. He just had 4 bare quarter notes instead of going mountain. You can apply it to any song. It helps you out when you want to play in different keys. Or playing up the neck. So if you want to do, well, let me go back to 9-Pound Hammer for a second.
Yeah.
So I started that, instead of going, or how most people would start that. They went, because you almost, I mean, the words are, oh, the 9-pound hammer. And you get this little sing going there. Oh, the 9-pound hammer is laid to hammer for my son. For my son. Hold on, buddy, I got some soul. And I had done this many years before this meeting with John. I mean, I'd been before that, but in that gathering there for the workshop, I played on Alison Krauss's first album before she was Alison Krauss, as I like to say. And she sent the Alison Krauss's very first album. I can't remember what it's called right now.
I didn't know you played on that.
I'm on half the album, and there's another banjo on the other half. But
okay, all right.
She sent a cassette for me to work on, and I thought rather than kind of playing the melody, I'll see if I can play it the way she's phrasing it with her singing. And I found my right hand doing all sorts of different things, different roles, and just doing it in a different way. So it's a really interesting way to go with things. So again, if you want to try Country Roads in C, some people will say, well, I don't know the licks in C. I mean, you don't have all that Earl stuff. And you see, country roads take me home to the West Virginia.
That's nice.
I mean, you got to get to the point in your playing. Not everyone's there, of course, but when you can get to the point where you can just sort of do it on the fly and just play the melody, play it the way you would sing it.
Right. And it's something that I teach a lot with my students and on Daily Banjo Licks. It's, the melody of the song is always the most important thing to get down first before you do any flashy licks, before you put rolls to it. Just get that melody down first. And if you can sing it, you can play it, and that's like the every teacher says that, but I really believe that. If you can sing, it doesn't even have to be the lyrics. It can be just the melody of the song. Like everybody knows Country Roads at this point. You don't have to know all the verses, all the choruses, all that stuff. But if you know the melody,
right, you get the basic melody, of course. But if you can once you can do that, then if you get to the point where you can do the lyrics, then it's getting in deeper, and you'll find it freshens up. Like certain tunes you've played forever, like "Rolling My Sweet Baby's Arms," I always did. And that's not the melody. I mean, that's what Earl played in 1949 or 1950. Right. And I started thinking, well, what would it be if I sang the lyrics?
Man, that is cool because it sounds really like the tune.
Yeah, you can actually hear the tune. I mean, we all know. You hear that? Okay, that's Earl doing.
Yeah.
What John Hartford also said, he said that on the same album that Earl did Country Roads on, he did Folsom Prison Blues, and there were no vocals on it. It was just instrumental, and Earl took the 3 verse breaks, and then the chorus was alternating with fiddle and maybe dobro or mandolin. But he did 3 verse breaks, is what John said, and he said that each break was a little different because he was playing the lyrics to those exact lyrics to those breaks, and he was right. I checked it out. They were all a little bit different. So
that is hip. That is really cool.
Yeah. So it's just
really does take it to the next level. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. What are the lyrics? So
that's really cool. Thanks for that.
Yeah. And by the way, just playing Little Maggie, I got a hold of these, as you know, maybe 1 or 2 of your students might know that I got a hold of these recordings of Earl Scruggs jamming with John Hartford, and this wealth of new information, over 200 tunes that no one's ever heard these tunes. I mean, it's just on these rare recordings that John recorded back maybe from the mid 80s to the mid 90s. He put out a cheap cassette machine, and first I was going for the obscure tunes that Earl was doing and finding all these really amazing licks and syncopations and things. But after I did that, I went for the tunes that he'd already had recorded, like Little Maggie or Cripple Creek and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one note he played in Little Maggie on this one jam where he went. He hit that note. I almost fell over with that one note.
Oh, dude.
He intentionally hit it.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I'm a nerd, so I admit it, but hitting that, most people would go. It hit the,
Yeah.
the second one.
Sure.
He went. It was almost the greatest moment of my life hearing that. E flat.
Yeah, right.
Just very cool. Definitely hit it. Okay. It's deep.
All right.
It's deep for me.
I lost you for a second, but it's
good. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, that's unexpected. That's why it's so awesome. I don't know, like
Totally unexpected. Yeah.
So Tony, it's time we give something away. I gotta jump into the giveaway, our first giveaway of the evening. And,
okay.
And so I've got two prizes. ProPick has generously offered some of their heritage picks and a case tin and a ProPick Supertone thumb pick. So the first prize is going to be 2 ProPick heritage picks, a ProPick pick case tin, and one of Tony's CDs. I don't know, Tony, it's up to you which CD you've put out a lot of albums, so whatever one you want to send. Maybe a new one when it comes out on June 7th.
Most of the physical CDs, they're out of print, but are they're on Spotify and Apple Music. But I have one called Territory.
Oh yeah,
which has some solo things on there and some double bass things. Pete Seeger's on there and Bill Evans and Bill Keith on a few tunes and some other solo stuff. So that would be the one. Territory.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let's do Territory. That's great. So our winner is Jay Hayes Jr. at blackkneehaze.com. I don't know your name, but I'm assuming it starts with a J. And congratulations. I'll send you an email after this and get your info so Tony can ship out your CD and ProPick can send out your picks. Thanks for RSVPing and entering. All right, so Tony, we got one lick, the ascending, descending, back and forth kind of thing, and over the 5 chord. So can you show us one more?
I can show you many more.
Okay.
Let's see. How about one of these Earl things that I've been loving? Maybe I'll demonstrate this lick from Browns Ferry Blues just so people can hear it, but maybe I won't. I haven't found other really good ways to use it, but in Browns Ferry Blues, he did this. This is, again, it's from one of these jams, and it's on my new album that's coming out June 7th. Shameless plug. But Earl did this. This is close to the way he played it, except for this one lick. It's exactly the way he played it. So this business, it's the coolest thing in the world. He slides up 2 to 5 on the first string, 2/8 notes, then hits the 5th string as a quarter note, then slides 5 to 8 on the second string. See? Yeah. 2 to 5 slide, 5th string, quarter note, and then 5 to 8 roughly, somewhere down here, close to 5. 5 to 8 on the second string to the 5th string. And then, again, somewhere around the 6th or 7th fret, just slide down as 2 more 8th notes. Don't end up anywhere in particular, just slide down and let go. Actually, after that quarter note and slide 5 to 8, then hit the 5th and 1st strings. I said 5th string quarter note, but he goes 5th and 1st strings. And then slide down from 6 or 7. open third string quarter note, and then 2 to 4 slide up 2/8 notes to the first string quarter note. And then down 4 to 2 or 4 to 0. I mean, 4 to just let go. And then the third string open quarter note to the C chord. And he's late getting to the C chord because the C chord starts here. And that's very G oriented. So in context, he ended it that way, which is really cool. A little single string, 3 to 0, thumb index in the right hand, 3 to 0 on the third string, and then a 3 to 5 slide, 3 to 5 on the fourth as you slide up, hit the third string, and the first string going into a forward roll, and just finish it off like that. So 3 to 5 slide, open third, open first, then fifth, third, first. And then alternating thumb, fifth, third, open, 2-0, pull off on the fourth to the first string, to the open third. So that's a little bit of that.
That's really cool. And the whole break in itself is just so like bouncy and bluesy.
Yeah, and then he did this. Go ahead.
So, no, you go. You had a thought.
I was just going to point out on that D lick. He did that not infrequently. That became one of his. It was not quite standard, I wouldn't say. Instead of going, he went. He would do a double hammer on the fourth string.
Man.
Third string, second fret for the D chord, quarter note, and then index to middle to ring. Hit the fourth string at the seventh fret, and then just hammer onto the third fret of the fourth string, and from hammer string. So you're just doing that double hammer. Hit the first note, hammer, hammer. See? Quarter note. And then index goes to the third string, second fret. And then middle goes to the second string, third fret, and pinch that with the open first string. Back to the fourth string, fourth fret. Back to the first two strings, which are unison with the open first and second string, third fret. And then on from there. But so it's a later Earl, kind of one of the standard licks he did. It happened in, I mean, there are over 200 songs. I haven't checked everything out, needless to say. But I found him doing that in 4 or 5 different places. So he was glomming onto that lick as one of his fallback things to do.
That's really cool. And so Browns Ferry Blues is going to be on the new record, like you said. Did you say that? You said the record's coming out June 7th. Okay.
Yeah, with Billy Springs singing on that, and Sam Bush is on there, and Bale is on there. He produced that track.
Yeah, and it got leaked on YouTube somehow. And
somehow we got it out. Yeah. Yeah, it's on YouTube. There's a video of that.
Yeah, it's really good. So, if you haven't seen it yet, definitely go check it out. It's all around just so good. Did you fly down to Nashville for that?
Yeah, I went down to Nashville to do that. Yeah.
Nice.
A few good pictures down.
Yeah, some pretty good players for sure. I'm excited to hear the whole record, man. Everything you've been putting out lately has been really, really inspiring and just enjoyable. So this is probably going to be the same, I'm assuming. Since we're on the topic of Earl, can you share a little bit about your relationship with the Earl Scruggs Center and kind of the new little the new documents you've been able to take a look at?
Yeah, well, just over the last couple of years, this whole other aspect of Earl has opened up with these 200 tunes, um, some of which we've heard before, but with new approaches. And again, tunes like Chinese Breakdown, we've never heard him do before. Amazing Grace, on and on. I mean, a whole bunch of things. Rose of San Antonio, or San Antonio Rose. But in addition to all of that, a year ago, this past January, a year and a half ago, Mary Beth from the Earl Scruggs Center got in touch with me, and said that after Gary Scruggs died, who it had been a couple of months before that, he died very suddenly, unfortunately. And I had just spoken to him a couple of weeks before, and he was fine, but I guess he had a heart attack. But everything that he was holding onto of Earl's, all the ephemera, went to the Earl Scruggs Center, and I got to check out some of the more interesting things that are not on display when I was down there in January. But one of the things he would do is when he changed strings, he would take the old strings and put them back in the envelopes in which they came. Then he would sign them and date them. And he had two big boxes filled with these strings. So that's one aspect of what was ending up at the Earl Scruggs Center. But in addition to that, there was a Mickey Mouse notebook that Mary Beth came across, and there's a really nice color photo, not a photo, but a drawing, a really nice drawing of Mickey Mouse, like a kid's notebook. And you open it up, she opened it up, and there are, in his own handwriting, are 60 pages of Earl Scruggs talking about his childhood, growing up on a farm, playing with Bill Monroe, playing with a guy named Lost John Miller, who was his first real, well, he'd been playing with some other folks before that, but kind of one of his first real professional experiences touring around. And Lost John was based out of Knoxville. And anyway, I got copies of these 60 pages, some of which, a little bit of this information is at the Earl Scruggs Center right now. There's a current exhibit there. But I'll read you from one of these. So Earl was touring with Lost John Miller. They ended up in Nashville, and Lost John was supposed to give Earl a ride back to Knoxville, but Earl wanted to audition for Bill Monroe because Lost John wanted to get out of the business because times are tough trying to make a living playing music. And Earl was maybe going to go back into the mills down in Flint Hill or in Shelby, where he'd been working earlier. So Jim Shoemate said, why don't you go audition for Bill Monroe? And then this is what one of the things Earl said about his audition for Bill Monroe. He said, again, this was meeting at the Tulane Hotel in Nashville. And this is directly what Earl had written. When Bill came to the Tulane Hotel, it must have been at least 1 or 2 p.m. Being sick with the flu and having a fever, this is not totally correct English, whatever, but he wrote, "My patience had almost expired. But Shoemate kept assuring me Bill would be there any moment. John, naturally, meaning John, Lost John Miller, was wanting to get back to Knoxville. I wouldn't have blamed John if he departed hours earlier, but he remained fairly calm. I was under the impression he was using this time in a way to explore another way to exist in show business. I would have been if I was him, since that was what he intended to do, and did some did do some more show business a few weeks later, using one of the Opry acts as a guest star, and apparently made money for a while. Bill finally came buttoned up snugly in an attractive overcoat and scarf around his neck. This was my first musician to have almost shoulder-length hair. He had a beautiful head of hair with it, as people around home used to say, bobbed off, hanging neatly on his scarf and overcoat collar, and a full almost earlobe of sideburns. But he had all the appearance of a pro musician. I picked Bill a tune, and he began almost a shuffle as he pranced around in the room. A big smile, but not much of anything was said. I picked a bit of another tune, but about the same reaction, and I put the banjo in the case. I explained my situation and said I would catch John before he left me. Anyway, and it goes on from there. There are other quotes, but I like that he noticed that Bill had a beautiful head of hair, and that Bill pranced around the room when he played. And the tunes he played were Dear Old Dixie and Sally Gooden. Anyway, that's one sample of the 60 pages.
That's so cool, and it's really cool to hear what tunes he played, because that really kind of puts you in the moment, puts you there with them even more.
Right. This would have been October of 1945.
Okay,
So
that's helpful as well.
Right.
October of 1945 in, where did you say they were?
They were Tulane, Tulane, Tulane Hotel in Nashville, which I think was where a lot of recording went on.
Okay,
Also,
gotcha.
studio in there or something like that.
Wow, man.
Yeah. And that really puts you in the situation. Okay, he auditioned and played these tunes, but to have describing how he appeared to Earl with that fancy overcoat and the hair over his collar, it's like really kind of puts you in the spot.
Bill Monroe.
But yeah.
What a prancy guy.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing that. That's so fascinating and cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You have time for another Earl lick?
We do.
Earl.
Yeah. Let me do our last giveaway, and then let's do a lick and a song, and then we'll say goodbye.
Okay.
So our next giveaway is for a ProPick Supertone thumb pick. I have not tried those yet, but I'm really excited and intrigued to try one of those Supertone thumb picks. I believe they're similar to the Blue Chip and the material that they're using, but I'm not sure. So whoever gets it, let me know. A 3-month subscription to Daily Banjo Licks and one of the Tony Trischka CDs. And the winner is Michael J. Hunter 182 at yahoo.com. Congrats, Michael. I know that's probably your first name. So let's go with that. I will email you afterwards and send you all the details, get your address for your thumb pick and the CD, and get you set up on banjolicks.com. Thanks for being here. All right, Tony, back to you, sir. Do you want to share another lick with us?
Well, I want to share 10 licks, but I'll share one lick. One of the things about these jam sessions is that Earl he just kept coming up with these amazing endings. You're just hearing these endings. This is another one of the tunes that's on the album. And by the way, on the album, this Earl Jam album that's coming out June 7th, every note I'm playing in my solos is note for note what Earl played in these jam sessions. I transcribed them, and then as I was recording them, I was reading right off the tablature to make sure I got it exactly the way Earl played it, because I wanted people to hear what he did. Because again, these recordings may never see the light of day. But one of the things he did was Casey Jones, and I'll just play the chorus of it. He played the whole thing right around here between the 7th and 9th frets out of the D position G chord, and then I'll go into the ending. And how did he come up with that? I don't remember if there were other musicians playing along with John Hartford. Sometimes Tony Rice was on some of these jam sessions. Sometimes Del McCoury, Sam Bush, Mac Wiseman, I can hear them playing. But in any case, as soon as he went into this ending, everyone just stopped playing, because Earl just came up with this thing, which is your F position G chord, 5, 3, and 4 with a pinky, index, and middle, respectively. Pick the first 3 strings. These are quarter notes. And then go up to the C chord. I just have the pinky still on the first string, 5th fret, adding the ring on the 2nd string, 5th fret, middle on the 3rd string, 5th fret. So back to the G, to a D, to open G, and then sliding 2 to 3 on the 4th string with the middle finger and the ring on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, and then just going down chromatically to the 2s, to the 1s, to the open. He just made that. I think he made that up off the top of his head. I mean, some of these things seem totally spontaneous. Can I throw in one more ending?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so another cool ending was. Because we always think he ended everything, but these are all these different endings. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and he's anticipating the 1 chord with a 2 to 5 slide, 2/8 notes, and then the 3rd string open, repeats it, and he's up at the 5th fret, and then he slides 5 to 2. So, and then open fourth string, quarter note, ring on the fourth string, fourth fret, open third. So it's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. So
That's cool. Really cool. I love the syncopation on that. And
yeah,
thanks for counting it out there.
yeah,
That's
kind of
helpful.
helps to know where you are.
Yeah,
There,
it
it's
does.
falling exactly.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah, I had a
Um,
chance to talk to Earl about that. I was interviewing him one time, and without, or maybe it was just in the conversation, he just happened to say that he thought what he brought to the banjo was syncopation,
mm,
which in his mind that was the most important thing. I said, well, what about all that other stuff he did for the banjo? But there were
yeah,
so
right.
many cool syncopated things he did over the
Oh,
years.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, your banjo sounds really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is that a Deering Silver Clipper? Is that what that's
This is
called?
this is the Deering Golden Clipper. They asked me
Golden
if,
Clipper.
at some point years ago if I wanted to have my own model.
Mm.
Sure, of course, I'd be happy to. So they blinged it out a little bit more than I asked them to. It has
Mm.
abalone up and down the side of the neck, and the inlay pattern is made of something called dichrolam. I thought it would just be a standard pearl inlay.
Okay.
And as I was leaving the factory in San Diego, they held up this block of this material and said, or you could use this for the inlay. And again, it's called dichrolam, which is
Mm-hmm.
chemical metal flakes, that sort of thing. I went, yeah, I'll try that, see how that looks. And it came out pretty cool. It really pops under a spotlight or in the sunlight. So
It really does. I mean, it's because it's got like it looks like greenish. Oh yeah, yeah, right, yeah.
yeah, the head's
Blue green. It like almost changes colors in whatever light you're in.
yeah, it's kind of psychedelic.
It is kind of psychedelic, and you've got the fretboard extension there.
Yeah, the extra 2 frets, so you go. Oops. Or Sally Gooden. It has other uses besides that.
So you need two more for that.
Exactly, I know. Well, that's the next call. So yeah, I'm selling the next 2 frets and some epoxy. So if people want to, in fact, that could be one of the giveaways.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just a suggestion.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a maple banjo?
It's a this is quilted maple on the back. A friend of mine,
Wow.
Tom Ellis, out in Austin,
Mm-hmm.
showed me at IBMA one year. Showed me here's a mandolin I made for Ricky Skaggs, and it had this on the back. And I thought, man, someday I want to have a resonator with that. And so I finally got it. And then the neck is mahogany.
Okay, mahogany neck. Is there a reason that you chose mahogany over full maple?
I didn't. They just put that on there. I knew I wanted the maple, the quilted maple, which is more highly figured than
Mm-hmm.
other maples. And they said, "How about a mahogany neck?" And I said, "Yeah," because maple can be a little unstable, and I've had banjo maple necks, and they can, in the weather and whatnot. Climate change too.
Yeah.
Anyway, it can be sensitive, and so mahogany is a little more stable, so it's a little more of a secure kind of a neck.
Cool. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
It's great. It's a great axe, man. That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Tony, thank you so much for having us, and thanks to everybody for being here on this 200th lick party. Check out banjolicks.com if you haven't already, and I'll send an email out if you've RSVP'd. I'll send an email out with a promo code so you can sign up and get a little discount for your first couple months of subscription. Tony, thanks again. Will you take us out with a tune?
Sure. I'll take you out with a little bit of Cripple Creek. Well, no, I'll do a tune that can I do 2 things real fast?
Yeah.
Okay, this is Cripple Creek. This is Earl's version of Cripple Creek, which is also on the album, with Dudley Cannell playing on it and Michael Cleveland. And this is pretty much note for note. I'll take it through a couple of times. And this is pretty much note for note what Earl played on Cripple Creek on one of these jams.
He played that?
He played that. I heard
That's
that
amazing.
again, almost fell over. This business, all backward rolls. This totally bluesed out thing.
Yeah.
And then instead of going, he went, stayed up with the 5th fret.
Yeah.
And I love this.
Right.
And that's really easy to play. 5th string, 1st string, 2nd fret, let go each time.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that ending.
Oh,
I think he's
man.
alternating with a 5th string, but damping it with a pump.
Talk about syncopation. Man. That's cool. Great.
Amazing stuff.
That is amazing. That's so cool.
All right, I'll play one.
Okay, and
And
just
that's
one more
just
time.
the tip of the iceberg.
The album is June 7th. Cool.
June 7th. Yep.
I'll post a link.
Pearl Jam.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. This is so cool.
I'll just play a tune that I wrote a couple of months ago. And, I've done, a lot of people use thirds or sixths. I've been messing around a little bit with sevenths. Here's the not a unison, octave. I'm starting on the 4th string, 10th fret, and the 2nd string, 12th fret. So you get sort of this discord. I'm a big fan of Aaron Copland's. He did a lot of this kind of stuff. So here's the octave here, but it's 1 fret below that. So it's so anyway, it starts with these sevenths, and it doesn't have a name yet. Ending with a little discord.
Love it, man. Thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful.
Thanks, Bennett. Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Well, hope to see you soon, Tony.
I hope so, Bennett. And
Yeah.
I'll say goodbye myself to everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and congratulations on your 200th.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care.